Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I was wondering how to tackle this review for a while, as you probably more keen of you have noticed on my background in my few videos that I have this Sultan Pasha Thebes perfume with me for a while now. It's a very nice presentation. I like how it opens. We have a bottle here. The cap, it's good feeling in the hand, it's heavy, it's not magnetic, it just fits perfectly right there. Everything is beautiful, well made, interesting presentation. I don't know if I have seen similar box on any of my fragrances before. The bottle in reality seems in the photos seem a little bit bigger than it is in reality. At least that's what I expected. I expected it to be a little bit bigger, but that's not a problem. Why I had problems, let's say, deciding on how to tackle this review. Maybe I will try start a little bit further from the beginning. The day I blind bought Thebes, the same day I watched Rich Mitch review, or first impressions, let's say, of whole collection of these fragrances. And Rich Mitch seemed very impressed with few of them, and amongst them there was also Thebes. My first thought when I heard his comments and his excitement was, oh no. Let me explain. I respect Rich Mitch very much. I think he is an excellent reviewer. I have watched plenty of his videos, and because I have watched plenty of his videos, I have, let's say, decent understanding of his taste. And one quirks of his preference, he's not very keen on artisanal perfumery at all. As far as I know, he was not impressed with even Bortnikov. I mean the old Bortnikov. So if we go deeper, if we dig to even more hardcore artisanal perfumers and fragrances, he almost never covers them, and there's reason for that. They are not to his taste. And when I heard his comments, I realized that what I blind bought, and what I'm waiting for is probably not an artisanal fragrance. It's probably high quality niche fragrance. And that realization came to reality when I smelled Thebes for the first time when I got the bottle. My conundrum doing this review was whether I should review this as an artisanal fragrance, because in my mind Sultan Pasha was an artisanal brand, or should I review it as a niche fragrance, because that is what I feel it actually is. And the lens you look at it affects your comments and end result and verdict of the perfume. I decided to review it from the lens of high quality niche perfume. Think of very old first paper label batches of Rauch Dove. Think of vintage perfumes, I mean very vintage, 70s, something like that. But mostly I would suggest you look at through a lens of old Rauch, not today's Rauch. No, I mean paper label, proper Chypres, proper Fougères, proper Guerlain inspired perfumes Roger was doing when he started his brand. First question everyone wants to know: how it is compared to the Attar. Not very close, in my opinion. Okay, let me get more specific. When I smell this and I smell this, I can see they are connected. He made an attempt. Let's put it that way. By the way, the one I'm sniffing here is the one I have a review on my channel, Thebes Grade 1. What I realize now, recreating Thebes Grade 1 in the sprayable format, I imagine was simply too costly. And what we get instead, and bear in mind I have never tried Thebes Grade 2, so maybe Grade 2 smells exactly like that, I don't know. What we get here, we have a perfumer, a talented one at that, trying to recreate a similar vibe, a similar smell, without using the same ingredients. And we get this dance of exchange. For example, original Thebes Grade 1, it is very based on, in my personal opinion, on iris. I don't know if we have, we have iris butter in the note list of Thebes, but trust me when I tell you, there is not that much of iris here. I mean, it's decent amount. It is more than you, for example, would find in Frederic Malle L'Eau de Verre, but it is nowhere near the amount of iris you would find in the Attar, and even more so, it's not even in the same stratosphere of iris you would find in, for example, my recently reviewed Vasif Reza Pau d'Oris Gold Edition. So, as I mentioned before, if we look at this from artisanal point of view, there's not a lot of iris here. If we look at it from a regular niche point of view, there's more iris than you would find in most iris perfumes in regular niche world. The iris, the powderiness, the effect of iris here, he tries to replace with aldehydes mostly, and at the same time where vetiver here is present, but it is not in the front of the composition. Here this is a heavily vetiver dominated scent. Where in Attar we have iris dominated fragrance with vetiver. In the spray we have vetiver dominated fragrance with iris. Somewhere there. This is your classical soapy vetiver fragrance. First thing that popped up in my mind when I smelled Thebes was my vintage old batch of Creed original vetiver. For some of you that's a good thing, for some of you it's a bad thing, but that is, in my opinion, the main feel, the main theme of this perfume. It is soapy, extremely green, vetiver heavy, vintage smelling, high-end niche fragrance. Its price point is 300 euros for 50 ml. So as far as pricing goes, I think it's decent. Nowadays, high-end niche like Roja, they cost a lot more than that. Some artisanals cost a lot more than that, some cost same or a little bit less. So I find pricing decent. And he, even on his page, he mentions that the main note in this fragrance is vetiver. So it's not like Sultan Pasha is trying to, I don't know, scam somebody or confuse someone. He highlighted what note this fragrance is based on. He didn't lie. It's more maybe a me problem, because I was expecting of something more artisanal. That being said, in some way it's a disappointment for me. If those who know me, you see that I'm currently selling this bottle below retail. But on another hand, for other people, for like Rich Mitch and all the vintage lovers out there, it's an extreme positive, because with not being artisanal style perfume, it comes with regular niche benefits. What do I mean? Blending here is good if you like vetiver. Vetiver is a little bit overdosed, but again, it's a vetiver perfume apparently. So what do you expect? I expected iris perfume because I didn't read the notes closely. In reality, it's a vetiver perfume. So if you are looking for a vintage vetiver in the terms in the likings of Creed original vetiver vintage formulations, I mean, if you want the feel of that masculinity, let's say, of those times, this is an excellent perfume. It has interesting story, and the story is, I read it on the page. The main point I liked about it, and I want to mention, he said that he added a battle between life and death, something like that, in the perfume. And that's why it's called Thebes, into the Egyptian mummy or then god, king or whatever. Believe it or not, I love history very much, but I'm not into Egypt history that much. I more enjoy Europe history. So please understand me. That's not the point of what I'm trying to tell. This has this flower, and for the life of me, I don't know which flower it is. That we, at least in my country, we use the flower in funerals. When you come to say your last goodbyes to deceased, we put flowers around the coffin, I guess, and this fragrance has that flower. This is not the first fragrance to contain flowers that, for at least my culture, associate with loss, with funerals. We have one from Amouage, the purple bottle, I can't remember the name now. But in those fragrances, like Amouage, like even I think Shana Sultan Vetiver had some funeral type feels. In those fragrances, that note is mostly the main player, and it's overpowering, and it's like, well, I don't want to smell like a funeral, so I won't buy it. In this fragrance, that funeral type note is probably the most artisanal thing in the whole composition, because it is not overpowering. It is somewhere there in the background, lurking, disappearing, appearing, reappearing, again disappearing. It's just like a constant attention grabber. The fragrance plays this game with you. 90% of the time it's a green, vibrant, energizing, soapy, clean vetiver type fragrance. And every once in a while this flower appears. I'm here, hi, bye, hi, bye. So it's the most interesting thing for me in this perfume. It doesn't kill this fragrance for me, and I think it wouldn't kill it for anyone, even though if you have the same association, if you use in your culture the same flowers for your funerals, it's not there too long, too strong, or very in front. It's just lurking in the background somewhat, and I find it interesting. Now about the rest of the technicalities. Well, the performance is excellent. It's amazing. I know Pasha does not use natural musk, so the musk we have here is synthetic. He says he's using oak moss. I'm not sure. Maybe he used the cured one, because I suspect this is an IFRA safe fragrance, IFRA approved fragrance. I don't know if it is. I never asked Sultan Pasha, so maybe if by miracle he watches this video, he can confirm or deny my suspicions, but I suspect this is a IFRA safe perfume. Oak moss here is perceivable. I think it is natural. It might be the cured one, because if you know, IFRA has restricted usage of oak moss. I have mentioned this in my previous videos. I will probably talk about it a lot more in my vintage events review. So yeah, due to oak moss, some synthetic musk, and inherent liveliness and strength of vetiver, this fragrance is beast mode, but it is beast mode in a vintage type of way. It has sweetness, but it's not sweet. It is soapy, and it is soapy for a reason. Vetiver here is very sharp, and while in Thebes, the Attar, the vetiver, even if it is there, it was very well controlled and worked around with iris. Here the iris amount is too little. He tried to work around the sharpness with aldehydes, I believe. So it didn't work as well. So you should expect a sharp green type of scent. The purple vibes we have in Thebes Attar, for me personally, are not here at all. They are replaced by this green sharp vetiver with soapiness from, I guess, traces amount of iris and aldehydes and some other florals that are there. So yeah, conclusion, I guess, as a niche fragrance, vintage style niche fragrance, this is an excellent fragrance. I believe somebody like Roja Dove would charge quite a lot of money for this type of fragrance, a lot more than 300 euros for 50 ml. Therefore, I understand why Rich Mitch enjoyed it. My suspicions were correct. This is extremely vintage leaning perfume. But if you are an artisanal lover and you're looking for artisanal perfumes with all their benefits and drawbacks, with all the strengths of the materials and weaknesses of the perfumers, this is not that. This is a work of a strong perfumer using regular niche line materials. So yeah, this is my review. If you want to acquire this bottle, if you're a vintage lover, please message me. I will sell it to you below retail. And yeah, that's been my video. Thank you for watching me. Have a good evening. Please don't forget to press the like, press subscribe, and most of all, comment. I like to answer all your comments. We have interesting discussions. And also a reminder, I have received 0 hot takes from my previous video about perfumery. So I would like to remind you, if you forgot or you just didn't watch the last video till the end and you watched this one, please watch my 700 subscribers special Q&A video and get the instructions. I want to do a hot takes video next. So yeah, thank you, have a good evening, and goodbye.